We're back, fight fans. This is the Ring Champs, and we got the legend back with us again. We have to talk about May 4th, Naoya Inoue, Roy Jones. This guy has dominated so many divisions, right? And unfortunately, because he's not in those big popular divisions, sometimes people don't understand how great Inoue really is. The hardcore fight fans do, but not the casuals, not mainstream America. How good is Inoue?
Inoue is a guy who's deserving to be really close to the top, probably the top 3 of my pound for pound list. He's that good.
Wow. So speaking of pound for pound list, can you give us your top 5 right now?
Terrence Crawford, Alexander Usyk, Inoue. I'm still lead Tank there at number 4. Boots be number 5.
Wow. Boots. So you think Boots and Tank should be over Bam Rodriguez? I mean, Bam, bro, is, in my opinion, pound for pound is probably, I got him at
top 5, top 4, top 5.
Yeah. My problem is I haven't really seen Bam, and I don't really watch boxing. So I'm sorry, my apologies, but I really ain't seen him yet. When I see him, I'm sure he'll probably go in there too, but I just ain't really seen him.
He's the guy that people, he's fighting at 115 though, but he's the guy that people are saying Inoue needs to fight. That's how good he is. You know, people are saying Inoue either move up and fight Tank, well, before the Roach fight, and then or move down and fight Jesse Rodriguez. That's how good he is.
Roy, when you have some time, really watch his last 5-6 fights. I believe that you're going to love this kid, and you're probably going to have him at number 3.
Okay.
But let's talk about Inoue, right? All right, he's fighting big fight weekend. Remember, guys, I mentioned May 2nd, May 3rd, May 4th. Is Inoue, Barak, I like the fact that you mentioned Tank, right? Look, there were talks about that fight. Maybe if Tank went down to 130, Inoue is going to 126. Maybe if they met at 130. So, Roy, does Inoue have the skill level to compete with a guy like Tank if that fight could ever happen?
Yeah, he definitely has the skill level. It won't be about the skill level. It'll be about the size and how he can adapt to the punching power that Tank has. The skill level, he has the skill level to compete with anybody. It's just a matter of how much of a size difference will it be on fight night, and will he be able to take the punches being at a disadvantage size-wise.
You know, it's crazy how we're talking about Inoue, not even considering Cardenas, Barak, that he's fighting in Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena, because we're so sure that he's going to keep beating everybody that we're not even talking about the fact that he has a fight against a real credible opponent in Cardenas.
Exactly. And that he's back in the States, because people are saying, oh, who are you fighting? And you fighting over there in Japan all the time. First of all, the reason why you say who he's fighting and why is he number 3 in the world is because you don't watch those divisions. You don't watch those young guys. So you don't know Cardenas was on Showbox and beat Pedraza like 2-3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And that was a vicious upset, knockout, second round. You don't know none of this. So when he goes in there, and if he starches Cardenas, you're going to be like, oh, well, he beat a guy that only has 1 loss, has a lot of knockouts, and he can fight. And he lost back 8 years ago. You know, so people don't realize that this guy is really steamrolling everybody. He's the most exciting guy in boxing right now. At first, at one time, I was like, it was Tank. And then I was like, y'all don't realize it's Bud. You know what I mean? But in reality right now, with 10 knockouts in a row, Inoue is the most exciting guy in the sport. And
he's exciting in his country, Roy. I mean, he's huge, right?
Yes.
Massive. I have a question. How does a guy like that is such a great boxer, right, skilled and exciting, he gives you knockouts, he's so big in Japan, how can we make that guy a popular fighter in America? What's the key?
Unfortunately, he's never going to be a popular fighter in America. The way he can get to be pretty good, though, is by keep knocking people out. Because if you knock people out, Americans love to see knockouts. The reason we don't have a big fascination with that weight class is because in the past, you saw very few knockouts in those weight divisions. And that made it less interesting. Also, like I tell people, here's the thing that the naked eye doesn't pay attention to. Your subconscious, when you're watching a fight, your subconscious really has your mind, your soul, your body in the back of his mind saying, how would I do in that situation? Well, I can't see myself weighing 115. Most Americans can't see themselves weighing 115 as full-grown adults. You understand me? So when they look at that, they're like, we have nothing to draw in context with that. We have nothing at all that we can compare to that. Wow. You feel me? Because we can't be that weight. But when we see somebody in the 147 above weight class, or even the lightweights, Some of us Americans, at grown people, at grown men, we can say, "Hey, if I was that size, that's who I'd be fighting against." So let me see what that looks like. You feel me? Not that it's ever going to happen, but we can imagine ourselves because we know we could be that size. So we watch it with a different form of interest. You understand me? We may see something that make us get up and go to the gym tomorrow. But at 106, 108, 112, 115, ain't no American men that small.
And plus, it's like if you walk past a guy like Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez and you know that he's a champion boxer, even if you're a big man, he might give you a problem on the street.
You hear me? So you still
exactly. If you walk past a guy that's 112 pounds, you're like, I think I'll break that guy.
He'll still whip your butt. He'll still whip your butt. But I'll say this. I agree with Roy because we're not seeing knockouts, and maybe that will pull you in because there were a few guys like Michael Carbajal, silver Olympic champion, was knocking people out, and there was a tension behind him. And he was a small guy. Same with Chiquita Gonzalez, Prince Nassim. When you knock people out,
made it famous. He made the little guys famous back then.
With the knockout. So, and I think Inoue is doing that for the most part. But yes, I mean, the fact that he doesn't speak English and people aren't aware, maybe he'll never be a big star, but we know how great he is. I'm looking forward to seeing him on May 4th. All right, that's our show for today, guys. Peace and love. We out.